If the law of attraction really worked the way they say, why do so many people do everything right and still stay trapped in the exact same reality? They visualize, they believe, they repeat affirmations. Yet something invisible seems to block every breakthrough. Maybe the problem was never the law itself, but the inner place you're trying to use it from. Today, you're going to notice a hidden detail that completely changes how reality responds to you. And when this becomes clear, manifestation stops being effort and becomes consequence. There's an invisible point where almost every manifestation falls apart. It's not something you can see, measure, or easily fix. It doesn't show up in popular books or repeated mantras. It's silent, constant, and acts before the request is even born. And that's why so many efforts seem to never get anywhere. People believe they fail because of lack of faith or discipline. They think they're vibrating wrong, feeling wrong, or wanting too much. But these explanations are just the surface of the problem. Like shadows on a wall, they distract from what really matters. The real blockage happens at a much deeper level. There are universal laws that don't respond to words, but to states. Ancient Hermetic teachings already showed that cause precedes effect. Nothing moves in the external world without a coherent internal command. When that command is fragmented, the result is too, and almost no one notices when this is happening. Imagine trying to send a signal with a broken transmitter. You increase the power, repeat the message, change the frequency. Still, the signal comes out distorted before it even reaches its destination. The intention exists, but the source is compromised, and the universe only responds to the signal that actually arrives. This invisible point doesn't get fixed with more desire, not with more effort or new miracle techniques. It reveals itself when you observe who's doing the asking, not the request, but the inner place it's born from. And if the problem was never what you're asking for, then who's doing the asking? For years, the law of attraction was presented as a simple method. Think positive, feel anticipated gratitude, repeat specific phrases. It all seemed like an almost mechanical formula, accessible to anyone, as if the universe worked like an obedient mirror. You just had to follow the right steps. Millions tried exactly that. Some swear it worked like magic. Others repeated every instruction and saw nothing happen. The difference was never in the visible technique. It was always in something no one taught you to observe. Two people can say the same affirmation looking in the mirror. The words are identical, the tone seems the same, but internally, one feels expansion, the other feels tension. One speaks from silent conviction, the other speaks trying to convince themselves. The universe doesn't listen to phrases, it perceives states. And states are shaped by old internal stories, experiences, failures, conditioning, emotional memories. All of this forms an invisible identity operating behind the scenes. It's the one really speaking when you manifest. That's why repeating an affirmation without changing the point of origin is like painting a locked door, hoping it will open. The phrase isn't false, but the one saying it doesn't sustain it yet. The error was never in the publicized method. It was always in the identity no one questioned. But what exactly is this active identity? There's an uncomfortable truth almost no one mentions. The universe doesn't respond to what you intensely desire. It responds to what you assume as truth about yourself. Desires can lie. Internal states cannot. And that's where manifestation becomes precise or relentless. When someone asks for abundance while feeling, deep down, they don't deserve it, the request is born divided before it's even launched. The mind affirms, "I want," while the identity whispers, "I'm not." This contradiction creates a confused field with no clear direction, and the universe only amplifies what's most stable. Ancient laws already spoke about this without beating around the bush. Like attracts like isn't poetry, it's mechanics. The external field organizes itself around internal coherence. Where there's doubt about who you are, there's noise in the signal. And where there's noise, there's no clear answer. That's why the law of attraction never fails. It works with almost cruel precision. It delivers experiences that confirm the active identity, not the desired identity, but the one being sustained, even when that identity operates on autopilot. So the question changes completely. It's no longer, how do I manifest better? It's who's manifesting through me right now. Until this question is faced, everything repeats, and the repetition always points to something that hasn't been seen yet. Before trying to create any new reality, you need to pause, not to desire harder, but to observe with honesty. Every desire is born from a specific internal point. Some come from the natural expansion of being. Others are born from the attempt to escape an old feeling. Ask yourself with brutal sincerity, does this desire arise from fullness or from lack? Does it express who I already recognize I am? Or is it trying to compensate for an identity that feels incomplete? The origin of the desire defines the outcome more than the desire itself. When someone manifests from lack, the field responds with more lack. Not as punishment, but as faithful mirroring. The universe reinforces what's being assumed as truth. If the internal truth is, I'm not enough, reality organizes itself to confirm that. Here's the practical point. Almost no one applies. Before asking, align the state. Before visualizing, observe the identity. Before affirming, stabilize who you're being. Manifestation doesn't begin with the request. It begins with the internal posture. As long as desire is an attempt to prove worth, it will keep spinning in circles. But when desire is born from coherence with who you already are, the field stops resisting and starts collaborating. And this prepares the ground for the deepest change of all. The biggest mistake was never asking wrong, not wanting too much, not believing too little. The mistake was always asking while trying to become someone, as if reality were a court to be convinced, as if manifestation were proof of personal worth. Whenever the request carries the energy of, when this happens, I'll be, it reveals an identity that still feels incomplete. And the universe doesn't respond to future promises. It responds to the present state being inhabited now. Not to what you want to be, but to what you're already being. That's why some people seem to manifest effortlessly. They're not asking to prove anything. They don't use reality to validate themselves. They act from an identity already recognized internally, and the external world simply follows that movement. When you stop asking to become enough, something silent reorganizes within you. The tension disappears, the effort decreases, the urgency fades. The request stops being a cry and becomes a natural extension of being. At this point, manifestation stops being a technique. It transforms into consequence. Consequence of an aligned identity. Consequence of a stable internal state. Consequence of someone who doesn't beg reality. But then the final question arises that almost no one dares to ask. Who are you being when no one's watching? When you understand that reality doesn't react to your requests, but to the silent identity that originates them, something shifts inside. The anxiety to manifest diminishes. The feeling of always trying to prove worth disappears, and in its place emerges a more stable, clearer, and more powerful state. True transformation doesn't happen outside. It happens at the exact point where you stop negotiating with the universe and begin to recognize yourself as the cause. In that moment, your actions become more coherent, your choices more aligned, and your energy cleaner. Here's the final detail almost no one applies. Don't try to feel as if you already have it. Observe who you're being while you feel. Adjust the identity before the desire, and reality responds without resistance. Now reflect with honesty. When you ask something from life, are you trying to become someone, or are you acting from who you already recognize you are? Write that in the comments. This recognition changes everything. If this video expanded your perception, like it now to anchor this energy. Subscribe to Manifest Now, turn on notifications, and continue this journey of awareness by watching the next video. The universe isn't just watching you, it's responding to who you become.